Hi, I'm Chris.
And I'm Archie.
What are we doing today, Arch?
You're building this.
I'm going to give it a go. It is a Burstyn Motorgeshuetz 1912. It was an Austro-Hungarian tank that was never actually put into production. It was just designed. And this company, Vargas Scale Models, they've started doing a load of just individual kits like this, which they make at home. It's a little one-man business, I believe. He designs them and prints them out and sends them out. Thus we can get models of really cool obscure tanks. So let's have a little look what we've got inside the nice box. There was supposed to be some instructions, they didn't arrive, but you know what? It's a really simple kit. I shouldn't have any problem working out that these are tracks and they probably go on the side. That's a turret and it probably goes on the top there. As you see with 3D printed kits, they do have quite complicated sprues. So I'm just going to spend a few minutes snipping all this lot off. Then I'm going to give it an undercoat. And then I'll try painting it up. And sticking it together, obviously. But just have a look at the detail on this. I mean, considering this guy's 3D printed it all himself, it's pretty amazing. You know, the rivet counters will be enjoying the rivets there, won't they? Like I say, it's got a turret there. These are bits of skirting. Go like that. It's got a gun there. I believe it comes with two different guns and you can choose which one to use. Yeah, there's the other one. And here's the tracks. One thing I like, again, I'll have to cut all this lot off, but one thing I do actually like, I know a lot of modelers are going to hate me for saying this, but not having individual track links. I like them all to be one. I don't want to spend forever sticking them all together or forcing Archie to do it. So yeah, this should all go together really nice and easy. And they also give you a name tag. Little bonuses.
That's a lovely little feature, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. Okay, right, I'm going to get to work on this lot then.
Okay.
Okay, so I've cut most of the sprue type of things off. They all started like this. I must say, they came off really easily. There was no fuss at all. If anything, they just kind of snap off. But yeah, I'll sand them all down a little bit. As you can see, I roughly assembled kind of how it's going to look. Oops, sorry. That'll go on there roughly. And then the gun goes on here. And it's a nice little tank. One thing I should say is I did see a couple of people online saying about these Vargas scale models that actually the scaling on them wasn't very good. So I checked it out. I looked at the old plans for this, and the plans say it was 3.5 meters long. Like I say, it was never actually built, so there's not one to measure from, although there is a full-scale mock-up of one at the Vienna Army Museum. So yeah, we looked at the old plans and they say it was 3.5 meters long, and this is, I think you'll agree, 10 centimeters long times 1/35 scale is
3.5 meters.
Well done, Archie. Absolutely. So yeah, it's perfect scaling. No complaints about that. My complaint would be, or my point of interest would be, how the crew of 3 or 4 men it was supposed to be would all fit in here. But hey, this is made accurate to the blueprints for the plans, and so that's what we're doing. Okay, so here we are, day 2 with our Bustyn Motorgeshuetz. And as you can see, I've undercoated it, and I also gave it a quick spray of this Humbrol acrylic desert tan. I've noticed actually, after painting it, you can see the detail a load more. I love things like this little handle sticking out. Normally that would be another part that you would stick on, but this being 3D printed. It's all as one piece, so I'm not actually going to have to do very much construction. But it does. I like the way it all fits together. It's a little beauty. I'm quite pleased with it.
Looks brilliant so far.
Yeah. Right, let's see what it's like when I stick it all together a bit more. So here we go. We're back with our Burstyn Motorgeshuetz. I've started sticking some bits together. You can see I've also undercoated. I did a little bit more on the undercoating. I did the grey primer and then I gave it some desert tan. You also notice I painted the tracks in advance because I thought that'd be fiddly once the guards are on. So I did this side of it. I'll show you how it fits together because it's super simple, but there are a couple of little problems. Basically, like, all the tracks are in one go like this, which, as I said earlier, I really like. And they just fit into those little holes there, if you can see that. Trouble is the holes are a little bit narrow, but that's not a problem, is it? Because, you know, we are actually supposed to be doing some modelling on this, not just sticking it together like Lego. But, so yeah, widen the holes a tiny bit. Now the problem is, of course, being a 3D printed kit, we don't use polystyrene cement, we use super glue, which means there isn't very much room for error. Once I stick something on, it's there.
That is a bit awkward, isn't it?
That is a bit awkward because, of course, I'm quite well known for making errors in kits. So here we go. Oops. Super glue's now stuck its lid to itself.
How does that happen?
Well, super glue will stick pretty much anything. I mean, obviously, everyone should be careful, especially if you've got kids around. You will stick your fingers to themselves and stuff like that. I often stick model parts to like the paper base I'm using or something like that. As I said, once this is in, we're going to be pretty quick. There's not much room for manoeuvre, right? And I also have to leave a little gap because these bits here fit over there. So of course I have to leave a slight gap between the wheels and the body for that to fit in. Here we go. In they go, leaving a little gap. I of course should have dry fitted that joint, but I think it's alright. That one might be a little bit close if anything. Now, because we are on time schedule, I've got to push all these in really quickly because that glue is drying as I speak and setting stuff in place that we can no longer move. But as you see, it's all fitting together quite
it's
quite
looking
easily.
quite good, actually.
And to be honest with you, my favourite part of making a kit is the painting and a bit about the research as well. It's not so much the actual sticking a million tiny parts together. That doesn't interest me so much.
I think you're going to have a lot of angry modelling men on your back now, Dad.
I would hope so, yeah. Now I'm trying to put that at a similar angle to the other one, but I mean it's dried instantly, so there is no altering that. And the one on the back... See, that's stuck to the paper already. Is there one on the back? Yes, there's one on the back. It really is like speed modelling, I think, with super glue. And that's at a similar angle to the other one. Okay, that wasn't too hard. I did notice these, I mean, they're quite flimsy, they really are thin. They're not perfect right angles either. But again, just bending it slightly, hoping it doesn't snap in my hands, as I am an accident-prone modeler. And again, trying to be super quick with this before the whole lot dries and says game over suddenly. I didn't notice the difference between the front and back on these. So I don't have the instructions, so I'm not entirely sure if I'm doing this right, but that looks about right, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Is that roughly what tanks look like?
Yeah.
I've done worse things with models before. Now, something I really can't work out on this kit, and I don't know if it's me being silly or not. is, you see here, there's like, that's the strut going out. These are for getting over trenches, by the way. There's the strut going out, and there's also a little bar coming out, a crossbar to it, and there as well. Now, there's no instructions with this kit. I think there's supposed to be, but they didn't arrive. And there's these 4 things, so I'm assuming these are the struts across. The thing is, I don't know if you can see very well here, it doesn't fit in there. Can you see that? In there it fits like really loosely, there's no place to stick it to. And in this section, again, it's way too wide, it's like rattling around in there. So I don't really know where to stick that. It's just like a general kind of, let's shove it in randomly, a bit like that. Okay, so we're back with our Motorgeshuetz. Do you remember earlier we had these bits and somehow they're supposed to fit in like here or something? I just didn't think they looked very good, although they are actually quite accurate to the original plans for this tank. I just didn't like them. So we've got some kind of modelling, it's like an eye-bar, and I'm going to try and put that in. Just, I think it looks better myself, but well, it's not that similar to the plans. It's going to be really fiddly, so I'm not going to annoy you all by having to watch me drop it a million times. We'll come back if and when I've actually got them in there.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, so with Archie's help, I got those little I-beams in there. And I think they're looking pretty good actually. I mean,
yeah. When Dad first mentioned them, I thought it's such a small detail, it won't make a difference, but it really has.
I think it does.
Really
yeah.
brought it to life and made it look awesome.
I think it makes it look a bit more plausible. And also, thankfully, I think that's the last of the gluing, so we can get rid of this messy super glue stuff, which I detest. But okay, the next stage is going to be, I bought these decals. They're Almark decals, and they're made for German First World War aeroplane late in the war, 1617. I can't get them out of the packet. Oh, here we go. But you know what, Austro-Hungarians did use very similar markings, and they'll be fine, won't they? I'm going to put one. Again, this tank was never actually made, so I can't really go wrong. It's kind of fantasy model. I might put one on the back there. I might put one on the top for aerial identification. I might stick some numbers on for fun. I've given it a very small gloss coating, so the decal should be able to stick on, and I'll use some Humbrol decal fix probably. Okay, so here we are, Humbrol decal fix. And it's the place we're going to put it on. Here's our decal. Swish on it goes. Now I'm going to just dry it off a little bit. Oh, and accidentally move it in the process. Oops. Roughly the right way up, I think. Okay.
Beautiful.
Yeah, then when that dries, I'll just put another little touch of decal fix on again, just to hopefully embed it a bit more. Not looking bad?
No, looking quite good actually.
Yeah. That decal fix really is a lifesaver.
It is.
Okay, so we've got some decals on now.
They're looking really good, mate, you know that.
They are. I must say, I have tried several brands of decals over the years, with varying success. But these Almark ones, they really are good quality. I'll say a couple of things about them. One, it's all printed as one sheet, so you really do have to cut them out individually, otherwise you'll get things like this is part of the decal. They went on really easily, and also something I love is when you buy decals in a big sheet like this, instead of getting exactly what you need for the kit, you've got loads more than you actually need for the kit, which for a modeler like me is really helpful, because obviously I just completely messed up on some, and some of them are just like screwed up in a little ball now. But that's fine, because we've got loads spare. Yay,
Railtech did that as well with their decals.
They sent us loads, you're absolutely right.
We only needed 4, but they gave us like 10 or something.
Yeah, a whole fleet. Maybe this could be in Railtrack. No. Right, so the next thing I'm going to do is use some thinned out black to highlight some of the amazing details on this kit, all the rivets and stuff.
And then is it on to making it look incredibly dirty?
Okay,
yeah.
So I've got some very thinned out Tamiya black here, and I'm just going over some of the details, highlighting some of the bits on the gun. I must say that these details, they are really nicely moulded, I think, and it's a pure pleasure to try and pick them out of it. Let's try and get this door done.
So what is this paint mixture made up of?
It's Tamiya NATO Black and Tamiya thinners, all for acrylics.
Okay, and what kind of effect are you expecting from it?
Well, as you can see, it's just kind of bringing out details of corners and stuff a bit.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to do, I might put another quick varnish on it, and then pick out some more details in a kind of in a rusty colour, I think, after that.
So you're basically like giving it a bit of mould around the cracks, essentially.
Mould isn't the word I'd use, but yeah, just highlighting these corners, give them a bit of shadow. Shadow,
Yeah.
I think is a better word than mould. A bit of light and shade, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can see now I've done some of the like bits of highlighting and stuff in black, and I'm now going to try to use some thinned out brown, and I'm going to use this, instead of picking out bits, I'm going to use it as a general wash, and hopefully again it's going to cling to some details and give it a bit of a roughened vibe, so it's not quite so factory clean. Yeah, so I'm using a thicker brush for this. Oh, that looks a little too thick for me, the fluid itself. As you can see, there's not much science going on in my method here. I'll just try a little bit maybe on the lid there. Yeah, that'll do, it's soaking in, isn't it? I'll do it top to bottom, I think that'd make most sense, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So you notice I painted it originally a very, very pale shade of khaki. That's partly because I knew I was going to do this later, which would darken the whole model up.
And I have to say, the top of the turret's already looking really good.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? It's just simple.
I like how the paint's kind of built up around some of the rivets, and it's kind of given a more rusty vibe, as if certain bolts have rusted up more than others.
That's exactly the desired effect, yeah. And even over our decals, over everything.
That is actually looking really good already.
I know, don't tell anyone how easy it is.
Oh, don't worry. You've already done that.
Here we go. Okay, so I've done my thin brown to add a kind of rusty effect here and there.
I have to say it looks really good.
Still brushing out bits of it. Yeah, I think it does, doesn't it?
It also gives it a bit of a dirty feel as well, like.
And that's what we want in tanks, isn't it? Nobody wants a brand new shiny tank.
Exactly. So you can see that this bit here is significantly darker than the turret.
Yeah, and it should be like that because, you know, some bits get more rusted up or more messed up. And,
like on top of the turret, there's constantly people climbing over it.
well, that's going to be my next step, actually. I'm going to do a little bit of chipping of the paint. And I'm going to do that with, I'm going to do it with a sponge dipped in a little bit of maybe black mixed with silver, kind of gunmetal type thing.
Okay.
And I'll just chip some of the paint edges around, like you say, the hatches, the doors and stuff. Maybe some of the nuts and bolts, things that would actually get a bit of damage. That's going to be my next little game. We're getting there, aren't we?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got my Tamiya gunmetal, I've got my little bit of sponge, I literally just torn up a washing sponge. The dish is going to be covered in Tamiya paint tomorrow, but hey. And then I'm just kind of dabbing it out here until it's not really leaving very much. And then just dabbing that along some of the edges that might have got the paint worn a bit, some corners and stuff. I'm not really wanting much of an effect, I'm wanting it to be quite subtle. Oops, I don't want it anywhere near like that. I can clear that up in a second. But yeah, just scraping the paintwork a little bit.
I have to say, it's not a very big effect, but it's definitely an effective effect.
Oh yeah. Yeah, just bits of edges really.
Just about visible from the camera.
Hopefully, yeah. So you probably saw I did those slightly too large splodges on the top of the turret a minute ago. And I'm just back with my brown wash, and because it's all acrylics, I've just brushed them out, smoothed them in, and they've just blended into more of the general mess of the tank itself. There we go. I'm kind of dry brushing it now more than anything else. Okay, I don't know if you can see, but I've kind of got a little bit of silver, and I'm just dabbing little corners, exposed areas. I'm kind of dry brushing now, just to highlight little bits of metal that might be worn, the paint might wear off. And I think doing this, it's not a massive effect, but it makes it look like this thing that we know is a little bit of plastic. Makes it look for a second like it might actually be made of metal. And you know what, with that, I'm going to call this finished. I think that's not bad for a day's work, and a lovely little kit.
Yeah.
I have to say, you know, reviewing the kit all over, it went together beautifully. The mistakes were mostly mine. I changed these struts, but that was my choice, not the fact that there was anything wrong with the kit. I did have a slight problem with some delivery issues. The instructions didn't arrive. The turret didn't arrive the first time, but then the guy from Vargas, he was very nice, and he sent me a whole other kit to apologise. Let me just show you that actually. It's another kit in their range. It's a French Peugeot Char de Combat. Again, another one that I don't think was actually made in real life. And this one does have the instructions. So this is usually what you get with your average Vargas kit. A lovely printed set of instructions like that, all quite simple. So maybe I'll make this later. Ooh, absolute bonus though. So yeah, what can I say all in all? That I really like, and I'm really proud of. And just the fact that this guy, Vargas Scale Models, is a one-man business making his own kits, he deserves our help and support. And you're getting a great kit for it that you really couldn't get anywhere else. Is that good enough?
Yeah.